Welcome to your Wednesday edition of Afternoon Express from Tsatsii. I'm Palisa Dembe, and 6 months into this global pandemic, it's safe to say that we're feeling the COVID fatigue. We explore this concept by chatting with Koketso Moeti, who advocates for the maintenance of strong and safe human connection during this time. We'll be speaking with award-winning scientist Ashley Ace about a rapid COVID-19 test kit that he developed that can yield results within 10 minutes. And we'll also be kicking it with singer-songwriter Tsatsii, aka TS, who will share why she urges everyone to stay home with her husband, who is a medical doctor on the front line. Not being able to have physical contacts with our loved ones can be very difficult at times. So how are you keeping that human contact alive? Ladies in the kitchen, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Polly, and happy Wednesday, everyone. Today, we're going to celebrate a very special lady's birthday today. Yay! But that, we're going to wait and tell who it is. What are you going to make today?
Well, today, to celebrate this woman that we are talking about, we're going to be making an amazing, delectable Black Forest pudding as an ode to her, basically. So if you want to get all your recipe details, all the information, just go on to afternoonexpress.co.za and make sure you get cooking along with us. But for now, let's catch up with TS.
TS released her debut album, Toro Camino, in 2019, an intimate masterpiece made up of 12 tracks that explore various themes surrounding topics that everyone can relate to. Tenolo Sebukhodi, affectionately known as TS in music circles, grew up in a township called Montswa and is generally a lover of arts, especially music. Despite being a law graduate, the optimist is pursuing a career in songwriting as an Afro-soul jazz singer.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Finally, you are just exuding queenness, royalty. I mean, can we all just bow down and say congratulations? You have just achieved so much in a short amount of time. Tenolo, you say you were born with the music bag and that you spent many years trying to get into the industry. Describe to us what your journey was like.
Well, this journey has been amazing, tough but amazing. I actually started in 2001 in a dance group in Muntiwa, in Mahikeng. That's actually where I grew up. And the group was called Muntiwa Community Dance Club. So in as much as that was fun, I learned a lot. It was amazing. But, you know, I've always known that my strong point was actually music and singing. So that's when I joined the choir in primary school and in high school. I was involved in anything musical, you know, for all my life, literally, for as far as I can remember. And I even now wanted to, you know, try out the solo performing. And that's when I got into the National State Sport competition for young performers in music. So, you know, that went well. I actually entered almost every year in primary school and high school as well, actually. And fast forward to 2015, I then started my company, Base Entertainment. That is when, you know, TS really was like proper born now. Started traveling the country, performing at, you know, jazz festivals. It was amazing. And, you know, apart from music performing and my music career now going, you know, well, I now decided to use my degree and my knowledge of law. So that is when I started now, you know, getting in partnership with an organization, you know, that we started now conducting workshops and, you know, teaching kids about the law and, you know, the contract.
And that's exactly what I want to get into. I mean, the most interesting fact about you is the fact that at the exact moment you decided to go full-time into music, this was around the same time you decided to do your postgraduate studies and you went into law. So first of all, girl, the two need a whole lot of commitments. So how were you able to stay committed to both, and why law?
I took a 4-year gap actually when I went to varsity. When I went to do my postgraduate law school, that's when actually that exact moment came, just like you said, when I actually passed by street musicians and I just got inspired to keep jamming with them. You know, I didn't know who they were, they didn't know who I was, but I would pass them almost every day. We start jamming and, you know, enjoying music. And that moment, that's when I knew, you know, and that's when I was inspired and motivated and had that courage to actually get back into the music full time and pursue the music career.
Doing both most definitely paid off. You are officially a 2020 SAMA nominee. Congratulations! But with COVID-19 and the SAMAs, they were done a bit differently this year. So what was the whole experience like for you, from being nominated to having the awards done virtually?
You know what? I've had a plan all my life on what I was going to do and how the summers, my first summer experience is going to be like. It was pretty awesome. But of course, you know, like everyone else, it didn't work out that way, you know. But I promise you, just to be nominated alongside the legends in my category, I promise you I am happy. I really am. I really feel like that was a big enough win for me. And it really did, you know, give my career a boost. So I'd like to really thank the summers and everyone that has supported me thus far.
Now, as we continue the conversation of COVID, you know firsthand what it's like on the front lines, as your husband is a medical doctor. It's also the same reason why you're using your platform to spread the messaging of one just staying at home. So please may you share what your life has been like for you and your family since this pandemic started.
I really have a newfound respect for frontline workers, and I'd like to thank them, actually, everyone, each and every one of them. He is working overtime now. He is so tired, you know, but yet so dedicated and, you know, helping people and trying to, you know, make sure that the health system does not get too congested. So he's just always there to make sure that, you know, he puts in the work and offer his services where it's needed the most, you know. But it hasn't been easy. It's been positive and negative as a family, of course. Negative for me because I've lost a lot of jobs, unfortunately. But positive in that, you know, I get to spend more time with my family, you know. I get to now even know my kids more, and even with my husband, who actually got stronger during this pandemic, you know what I mean? So I know I have to support him and just make sure that he's able to put in the work and, you know, help people that really need the help.
It being the month of August, and Women's Day is, you know, something that we definitely celebrate. So what message do you have for the women of South Africa?
Women are beautiful, women are powerful, and our dreams are valid, and we can do and be whatever it is that we want to be. And that's what everyone needs to remember. Every woman needs to remember we are beautiful, and yes, we can.
Oh, yes, we can indeed. And you have done so. You've done so effortlessly and looking like the queen you are. Thank you so much, TS, for joining us. And South Africa, I have to ask you to head over to our social media platforms and let's share the love, let's share the congratulations, and let's share in the music.
I love the fact that it's Women's Month and we're celebrating women and all the great things they're doing. I mean, the fact that she was able to juggle a music career and studies at the same time, that for me is perfect.
I know, and you know, with music, you need to be there the whole time. You know, it's not like you can leave it one day and the other day. Pali, look at you driving away there.
No, I'm just on such a high after speaking to Zenola. She's done such incredible stuff. Shout out to all of the SAMA nominees and SAMA winners, because I think that they're doing such incredible things by lifting our spirits with music during this time.
Especially because it's lockdown, so they can't really be out there, but they are doing so much more.
Yeah,
So we
they can't have shows. That must be very frustrating for musicians, eh?
But the fact that they're making a plan is what I'm all here for.
Yeah.
Now, ladies, spring may not yet have sprung, but coming up, we'll make sure that you're prepared for seasonal allergies as we learn exactly what they are and how we can manage them. And then later, award-winning scientist Ashley Ace shares about rapid COVID-19 test kit that he is developing.
Express yourself.
who suffer with seasonal allergies, spring can be your worst nightmare. Your eyes begin to itch, your nose starts running, you sneeze every 10 seconds. But what does it all mean? We chat to pediatrician and allergist, Professor Claudia Gray, to understand a little more about allergies, what they are, and how we can treat it. Welcome to the Loft, Claudia.
Thank you so much.
Let's start with understanding allergies. What is an allergy? What are the different types of seasonal allergies that we may experience, especially now in winter and spring coming up?
So an allergy is really an unusually exaggerated response to something which should normally be harmless. And when we're talking about respiratory allergies, it's a response to things in the air. So airborne allergens such as house dust mite or grass pollen or mold, etc., that set up a response in your body which is exaggerated. Your body then reacts by releasing chemicals such as histamine and other chemicals with long names such as leukotrienes, which actually just make you feel awful. So if that happens in your nose, it causes an allergic rhinitis, which can manifest as itching, sneezing, runny nose, congested nose. It can affect your eyes too. If that happens in your chest, it can manifest as a closing up of the airways, so an asthma attack, which can manifest in coughing or indeed wheezing. You talked about the change in season, and this is extremely relevant because we are still at the end of winter, and our winter allergens are playing a big part this year because they're mainly indoor allergens such as house dust mite and mold and your dog or cat dander. And because people are locked down, they are spending more time at home and more time indoors.
How exactly are allergies triggered? And what are the symptoms that one may experience?
So essentially, your body inhales those particular allergens and sets up a response to it, almost as if it's an enemy or a parasite. So in trying to get rid of this allergen, it secretes a lot of chemicals, and it's those chemicals that make us feel really not so good. And if you're unlucky, it can cause complications such as sinusitis and ear infections or fatigue or even poor work performance if you really are feeling headachy and blocked up. If those allergens get into your chest and you have an asthma tendency, then a closed chest, wheezing and coughing. So a variety of presentations for the respiratory allergies.
Are we born with allergies, or is it something that develops?
So often we're born with the genetics, so there might be allergies in the family, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll manifest. So there are other factors that influence our genetics, and these are called epigenetic factors that influence how our genes are expressed. And other factors may be the timing of when you get into contact with an allergen, whether you've had eczema or not as a baby, which can let allergens through the skin, whether there's pollution, whether there's been smoke around where you've grown up. So it's a combination of genetics and environmental influences.
How then can we manage allergies, and is it something that can be cured?
So in terms of managing allergies, it's a sort of a three-tiered approach, in fact. The first is having an accurate diagnosis. So often people are just assuming that they're allergic, but it might in fact be something else. So number one, go and see someone who knows what they're talking about and have yourself tested so that you know exactly what you're allergic to. Once you've found out, then you can take some steps to reduce that allergen in your immediate environment. For example, if you're allergic to house dust mite, which peaks now in the autumn and winter, we know that it loves fluffy things, fluffy carpets, fluffy toys. So the first thing is get a high efficiency vacuum cleaner or change your carpets into flooring. And then reduce the fluffy things in your bed, the fluffy blankets, the fluffy toys. You can kill the dust mite actually by freezing them. And then thirdly, your bedding, you might need to wash it at a higher temperature to kill the dust mite, so 60 degrees plus. You can even get special bed coverings. Secondly is your pharmacological treatment or your medicine. So this depends on what allergy you have. So for nasal allergies, we normally require a combination of a good intranasal corticosteroid spray on a daily basis together with a good non-drowsy, if possible, antihistamine. For asthma, we need usually a preventer treatment, usually in the form of a pump, sometimes in the form of a tablet, for everyday use to strengthen up that chest and make it less reactive. And then when we get an asthma attack, we need to use a quick acting pump. So it's very important to get your treatment tip-top, especially in a season like this one where we've got complications such as COVID-19. You don't want to be sick as a baseline. You want to be tip-top. So there's no direct cure, but the closest that we come is something called immunotherapy, where we actually give people tiny amounts of the allergen over time to trick the body into liking it from an immune point of view rather than rejecting it and reacting to it. Immunotherapy for respiratory allergies can be injectable or it can be sublingual, which means little drops under the tongue. And generally over time, if you do that for 2-3 years, you can shift your body into accepting that allergen. And that is more the most cure we can offer. Otherwise, it is symptomatic treatment.
Thank you so much, South Africa. You heard it here first from an expert in the field, Professor Claudia Gray. She is a pediatrician and, of course, an allergist, helping us navigate this time with our allergies. We appreciate you, Claudia. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Now, allergies can be a nightmare and have a large effect on one's daily life. We all deserve to enjoy life allergy-free. Allergex Non-Drowsy can assist you with allergy relief for the entire day. Free to be you. Live, work, play, sleep, allergy-free with Allergex Non-Drowsy. Today we meet the talented Ashley Ace, award-winning scientist who has received the stamp of approval to create a rapid COVID-19 diagnostic test that gives results within minutes, which will drastically reduce the waiting time for results. Ashley, congratulations and welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you.
This is the mastery I'm talking about, so let's just get straight into it. In non-scientific jargon, for all of us to understand, what is the name of the test and how does this incredible test work?
The test is called the saliva antigen COVID test. So basically it detects viral proteins in saliva. And it's as simple as a pregnancy test. You apply the saliva to the test itself and you get results within 15 minutes.
Wow, that quick and that easy to understand. This is truly remarkable. How is this a game changer for the current testing methods that we are currently experiencing in South Africa?
So, of course, in order to fight any pandemic, you need data. And in order to obtain the data, you need diagnostic tests. So, of course, COVID-19 being fairly new, of course, there were many challenges for scientists out there to develop products that would be feasible to be able to get data that is accurate enough for government to put measures in place. So for us, we looked at obviously point of care to be able to use the technology and test individuals at the point of care would assist in the turnaround time for results. And that's what we focused on. We focused a lot on quick tests at the point of care that can be administered by anybody. And of course, the most important part when it comes to this is validation. And that's what we're going through at the moment.
And this is what I want to get into, because then, Ashley, I have to find out, how have you tested the testing kits and how do you know that it will provide a correct result?
Yeah, so initial development of test kits, what you do is you obviously positive and negative samples. So, of course, with COVID-19 being so infectious, we, of course, had to use negative saliva and spike it with viral protein to see if we can detect the viral protein at a certain concentration. So by concentration, I mean you need to detect very low concentrations of viral proteins in saliva in order to detect the virus early. What we've done was we've done a series of experiments whereby we spiked negative saliva, but we also managed to obtain actual positive saliva samples from individuals who were exposed by their family members who were confirmed positive cases. So that's how we were able to access saliva samples early enough in order to do this.
How will tests like these help the country in combating the virus?
At the moment, we all know that testing is way too slow. The number of tests conducted and the data that we'll be getting is extremely important to know when we're reaching the peak. The peak of infection is obviously the highest point of infection, after which recoveries actually exceeds the number of infections, and that's when it's on decline. So that data is quite important. And in order to do that, you need diagnostic products. Of course, at the moment, they're using PCR. PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. It's a lab-based test. What we've done was we looked at a similar concept to detect viral proteins rather than antibody buildup in your blood. because that is what our regulatory body has been struggling with in terms of how to release these test kits.
Okay.
Of course, you can imagine, because it's so infectious and we have asymptomatic patients in the population, regulations should be tight around this. So our intention is obviously to validate the product as best as possible, to utilize the resources government made available and the testing laboratories. And of course, with our in-house testing, we're quite happy with the performance. Until it's been stamped by our regulatory body, of course, we can't release anything.
Now, we're always talking about money here on the show and making things affordable. So what is the affordability of the testing kits, and where will the public be able to purchase them from?
So rapid tests are not, it's very cost effective. It's not too expensive to administer compared to laboratory-based testing. So in order to access the product itself, we need to follow guidelines set aside by our regulatory body. And they basically regulate where you can sell these products. At the moment, the serological test, which is the antibody test, the blood-based test, can only be used in data collection surveys. This is an antigen test, and we haven't come across a specification that government wants in terms of sensitivity and specificity, which is obviously the accuracy of the test. So we will be liaising with them, and we will be recommending a specification for the test, but also, of course, with all tests, they have limitations.
Yeah.
One of the concerns government had was the reason why they don't want you to sell the product to public directly. If they use the test incorrectly or they misinterpret results, then, of course, it has a negative effect in terms of curbing the infection. So we are, of course, following guidelines as per what our regulatory body requires.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us this afternoon. We really do appreciate it. Brilliant minds like yourself using your expertise to help the rest of South Africans, and I'm sure the world over is definitely going to be watching your lead. We appreciate it. Goodbye.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
South Africa, please do head over to social media. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express and let us know your thoughts on this incredible initiative and these testing kits. I hope that they'll definitely enlighten us and break down some of that anxiety we're feeling during this time.
It's just amazing how clever these medical people are. It's like the COVID testing and then that allergics, that's non-drowsy, because that's a big thing about when you're taking anti-allergic medicine. They make you sleepy. You know, that is one of the disadvantages, but this is amazing.
That was one of the reasons why I was taking Allergex, so I could sleep. Oh. I'm not confessing anything, Palisa.
You ladies are so full of jokes today, but I'm loving the feeling, I'm loving the spirit, because it is a special someone's birthday that we're not mentioning just yet. But more than anything, the fact that we're also celebrating scientists like Ashley,
yes.
How incredible. I think this is going to be a game changer, not only in the South African context, not only in the African context, but globally.
I'm just happy that he's one of us and we can claim him. He's ours. He's from South Africa.
South African.
Absolutely. Power to Mzansi and power to the incredible minds that are truly making a difference in our world. Now, we're always looking for ways to keep our petrol tanks full without breaking the bank. Coming up, we learn about FNB's latest addition to their e-bucks ecosystem called Ladies Fuel Booster Rewards.
Express yourself.
South Africans, we're always looking at different ways that we can make our money go further. If your monthly budget items include transport costs, such as paying for your car and fuel, you're definitely looking for ways that you can make your rands stretch each month so that there's more money left at the end of your month and not more month left at the end of your money, if you know what I mean. Today, the CEO of Westbank Motor joins us to give us the lowdown on how we can make those costs work for us, all while getting rewarded for it. Ghana Msibi, welcome to The Loft.
Hi, Bali. Thank you very much.
Ghana, you had me sold at saving money and getting rewarded for it. Please tell me, how can we save money when it comes to our cars?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Bali. You would know, and I suppose most South Africans would, that from an F&B perspective, we've really been quite obsessed about money management and making sure that our customers have definitely got a stretch on their rand. What we've now done is working with Westbank, we've effectively plugged into the F&B machine from a rewards perspective. And as such, what that means is all F&B customers are able to earn up to 4 rand per litre. That's real cash back into your pocket. But if you've actually got a Westbank deal, we double that all the way up to 8 rand. Now, that's a massive saving.
Absolutely.
I'm sure to everybody. I think, in some of the cases that could even go up to about a tank of petrol for some individuals. The way this works, Bali, is that we would aggregate the activity at all the engine stations. So that effectively means you've got to fill up only at engine. You've got to make sure that you've got a finance agreement with Westbank or any of us associate companies. You could probably also have one with Toyota Financial Services or VW Financial Services. Lastly is you've got to be able to load your car on what we call the Nav Garage. It's very easy. It's on the F&B app. You load all the details of your car and voila, you qualify for up to 8 rand a litre.
So, Ghana, someone might be asking, what if I already have vehicle finance with Westbank, but I don't bank with F&B? What can I do to get this benefit?
Yeah, and so this is what we actually answer quite a few times as well, with most of our customers saying, how do I actually get this 8 rand? It's quite simple. You switch to F&B, you open up an account. We've got dedicated individuals in F&B that are already flagging those calls, so you can already contact us directly to migrate your account, open up a check account, or you can even contact us directly on westbank.co.za, where there's a switch capability, or go directly to F&B. What's also beautiful about this, Bali, is once you've become part of this F&B/Westbank family on NAV, you get to do a whole lot more on this NAV capability of ours, such as you're able to view and pay your fines. I mean, you look like a person who pays all her fines, so I think that's going to be working for you as well. Able to renew your car license delivered straight to your door.
Wow.
Think about it, especially in these COVID times, how convenient this is. We actually even do free estimates for your vehicle. So now why this is also important is that it allows for customers to actually know what the true value of their vehicles actually is, at the point of trading it in.
And of course, adding convenience into the mix and allows us to do everything within the power of our own cell phone, data, and homes. I love this.
100%. I think our biggest drive is to make sure that we digitize as much of our interactions as possible with our customers. But I think at the heart of it is making sure that we drive not only the convenience factor, but solutioning for what we call customer angst. And that's really the small little things that you and I would know in terms of, at the moment, I would want to be able to purchase something from a said supplier. You can do it at the comfort of your own home. You can use your e-bucks that you've earned from your petrol spend, and you can be able to use it and literally be able to buy anything online, from any of the suppliers. This qualifies for all F&B clients. RMB private bank customers are also included in this as well. So I think it really talks to making sure that it's an all-encompassing solution for our customers right through their experience with us as a bank.
And Ghana, where can we go for more information?
So to be able to get more information, Pali, you can dial into westbank.co.za. We've got information as banners that are on site there. You can go to fnb.co.za. And if you're an FNB customer who's yet not been able to take up finance with WesBank, you can go to the app. On the NEV pages, there's also quite a few details there that will give you guidance as to how to proceed to make the right money-saving decisions.
Thank you so much, Ghanam Sibi, for all this information and allowing us to save money whilst, of course, and getting rewarded for doing the same thing. Thank you.
Ali, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you to your guests, and we really hope that you will take up this offer that we are putting on the table to help your money go further.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. Simply visit the FNB app for all the information that you need on how you can load your car and start reaping those rewards.
So, does your bank help double my fuel rewards? Double? Really? Yeah, up to 4 Rand back in e-bucks for every litre every month from FNB. And cause my car's financed with WesBank, my e-bucks are doubled to up to 8 Rand back a litre each quarter.
Real engine.
Yo. Does your bank help double your fuel rewards like that? FNB does.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
Since we started to tell you to fill a bag last week, we've been challenging our own crew to donate. A very special colleague of ours, Tony and Chadwin Arensay, and their son Mikey, have stepped up and are doing their part to help our fellow South Africans in need.
So after watching the video of Claire and Jordan donate, it has inspired myself and my family to donate as well.
Mikey, how much are we going to donate?
Yes, so we're going to be donating 100 Rand. And we challenge you too.
Okay, South Africa, I hope you're saying challenge accepted. Shout out to our incredible team, Tony Tony is one of our editors, and Chadwin is our darling's floor manager here on Afternoon Express. And Mike is their little mini-me. I mean, a huge thank you to the Arenta family for their donation. If you'd like to get involved, just scan the QR code that you have seen on your screen with the SnapScan app or your banking app and donate whatever you can towards filling a bag. Donating as little as 10 Rand will provide one person with 3 meals for a day. Also remember to encourage your family, friends, neighbors, colleagues, and those chat groups to do the same. Social distancing has made us all feel a bit out of touch with others and even ourselves. But why should we maintain a human connection to others, and why is it important to teach our kids to do the same? We chat to Koketso Moeti, the founder of Amandla.mobi, who explains the importance of maintaining a human connection. Welcome to the Loft, Koketso.
Good afternoon, and yeah, good to be here with you.
Now, with the hard lockdown that we all experienced, you found a need to teach your kids and others about the importance of interacting with our community, but in a good way. Tell us about what led you to that.
So the kids and I were playing with a ball outside, and the ball accidentally went outside of the yard. And of course, under normal circumstances, we would have opened the gate and raced to go get the ball. But given the current circumstances, instead, I wanted to go get a mask and ensure I can go safely outside. Because part of my role is modeling the behavior that I want them to adopt to keep themselves and others safe as well. And before I could go into the house to get the mask, an old man who was walking down the street passed by, grabbed the ball and brought it to the gate. Of course, as my kids started running towards the man, I stopped them, and I politely asked the man to please throw the ball into the yard. And of course, the kids again tried to run to the ball. I stopped them and I wanted to give the ball a scrub. And of course, I couldn't tell the man's reaction to this because he had a makeshift mask on, right? And he couldn't see my smile as well. But nevertheless, the whole interaction felt so cold and unkind, And one of the things that it forced me to reflect on was, how do I teach the kids to continue to protect themselves and others, but how do I do it in a way that does not inadvertently teach them to treat people as a threat? I think this is particularly important in the face of an invisible virus, right? Where it's easy to see people as the problem, treat them as mere disease carriers, risks to your health, and retreat into personal cocoons.
Wow, this is seeming very challenging to be a parent during this time. Having to strike that balance is quite interesting. So how has lockdown and social distancing affected your kids and family?
So my family, so the kids and I have all had health issues that have had respiratory consequences. But over and above that, we also have their great-grandmother who now lives with us. And given her age and her underlying conditions, she's a high-risk person. So in essence, my entire family is at quite a risk for COVID-19 related complications. So given this, of course, I took the kids out of school before the lockdown even started. And yeah, this is the longest they've gone without going home, in Mahikeng, without seeing people, without seeing other children apart from each other, and just, again, the sense of isolation, It was dizzying, the speed at which we could be physically with people, but suddenly physical connection became a threat. So it's had a huge, huge impact on the household.
I believe you have an amazing avocado tree. How have your kids given back to the community, and how do they feel by doing a good deed?
So we have a huge avocado tree that bears avocados all year round. And we have much more than we can eat, especially because the kids don't really like avocados. So under normal circumstances, I can share the bounty with people at my office and with our friends and so on. But suddenly this is taken away from us. So the kids decided to start packing them up and leaving them outside in the front yard for anybody to take as they pass by. And I think it was just so amazing for them to just see how people were taking these avocados and going, right? And over and above that, we also do have a garage and we have no car. So we've been able to use our garage as a sort of food and personal protective equipment distribution facility over time. And it's just been their way. It's been phenomenal watching them think of ways in which they can stay connected with others. Yeah. And even though they can't go outside, it's been fascinating to just watch them and their deep joy when they see people collecting, whether the avos or collecting food or collecting this PPE.
It does sound incredible to see how you be able to be creative, but also give back to your community. Now, what do you want your kids and others to learn during this time? Not just to remember to wash their hands and wear their masks. What more?
So I really want my children to understand that this is a time when we as people need to show up for each other, right? There are so many people who are finding really creative ways to support each other. So I think about the community action networks in Cape Town, where unlikely groups of people have come together to meet local needs, right? I think about the women of Londani Lushaka, which is based in Alexandra, who together with volunteers and people donating food are feeding about 600 kids on a daily basis. And what I want my children to take away from all of this is that this is a moment in which it is possible to maintain existing connections with each other, but also forge new bonds, even in the midst of a global pandemic. And of course, yes, we need to be careful about physical connection, but at a time like this, connections to each other remain crucial. They always are. But right now, they're even more important.
And let's not forget that. Thank you so much, Koketso. It is Women's Month, so I want to wish you a happy Women's Month. I hope that you are continuing in your power, within your fierceness as the woman that you are in your community. We appreciate you, Koketso. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
It's important to keep communicating with our family and friends. As they get lonely, you might feel like you feel lonely in a home full of others. You might feel that you want to give back to your community and chat about how they are coping and feeling during this time. And we want to maintain those connections safely and without fear.
Oh, ladies, a shout out to Tony, Mikey, and Chad. And I actually challenge you next to donate perhaps a bit.
Okay, I will. I'll take that on. I'll take that on, Anele. Thank you for challenging me. This is what's so interesting about this Willie's Fill a Bag campaign. You out there saying, donate, donate, donate. But when it's time for you to give your money, you're like, Aish. But absolutely, this is what we committed to because we can't live in a life of lack. For the fact that we are blessed enough to be here, to have jobs, we are blessed enough to give someone else. And that's what's crucial here. It could even be 10 rand.
Exactly. As the saying goes, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. I am because of you. I am because you are. So
we should be together. Which means, Tumi, you are joining me. We are together. We were going to be donating. But shout out again to Chadwin, Tony, and their darling Mikey. But ladies in the kitchen, you've got something exciting coming up as well.
Yes. There is a special lady who I will not mention who is celebrating her birthday today, and we are going to be honoring her with an amazing recipe that she likes, but just with a twist, Yes. We'll be making Black Forest pudding.
You heard her, South Africa. Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover.
Happy Wednesday, everyone, and thank you again for joining us. As we are within Women's Month and we continue to celebrate and salute women across the country, one particular woman that we want to honor and wish well on her birthday today is my mom.
Hey.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
My mom celebrates her birthday today, and we are celebrating her with one of her favorites, Black Forest pudding.
Oh, yum! I'm happy that it's a bit healthier as well.
Yes.
I think you don't going to add sugar, so it's amazing.
Literally in this whole recipe, I'm only using 2 teaspoons of icing sugar, and that's literally just for the plain yogurt. But basically, let me show you how it's done. It starts off with some milk that I'm putting into our pot here. So the reason I'm doing this is I want to just heat it up because it's also going to melt our chocolate. But I'm going to put in some dates because, like we mentioned, we're not putting a lot of sugar. So the sweetness is kind of going to come from our dates here. So what's going to happen here is that our dates are going to heat up and then release the sweetness, but then also become very soft.
Yeah.
What that does is going to make it easier for us to blend it in and put it together with the rest.
I know the dates actually disintegrate in the milk eventually, and that's what's that sweetness. But I love the Clover Blue. That blue bottle, when I go to the shops now, first thing I see is the blue bottles, and then I put them into my cart.
Exactly. There's nothing blue about this. It basically it reminds you of the clouds and good days and sunny days, and also it's got 55 quality tests.
Yes,
you understand what that means.
We love that.
But basically, it's good for you. It's a quality brand. It's been around for years, so you basically don't have to worry about it being a quality product at all. But on the side here, all I want to do is just whisk together. I've got plain yogurt. This is not cream. It's still on the healthier side, so we're using plain yogurt. That's going to be that white layer of our Black Forest
But where's
pudding.
the cake?
There is no cake.
There's no cake.
The chocolatey part is going to come from our dark chocolate. And obviously dark chocolate is much healthier than milk chocolate because of the less sugar in it. And then we've got the plain yogurt in there as well. So we don't need the cake. It's going to be nice and thick and delicious. You won't even miss the cake, I promise you.
You know, I've never made a Black Forest cake in my whole life. So will you please teach me one day? While you're busy there, I'm quickly going to make like a bit of a sauce to go with it extra on the side, because you've got to. And I've added some to keep it healthy. I've added some raisins in a bit of water here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add some berries, some raspberries, and I'm going to add a bit of basil.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
The one thing that people don't know is that basil, even though it's considered a savory herb, goes very well with sweet ingredients as well. So it's perfect addition to this. I'm sure she would love this, actually. Mommy, Anel loves you to bits.
I love you. I love you. And happy birthday again.
So all I'm going to do now is I'm just taking our dates and the milk in there. I'm actually just going to try and preserve some of the milk. Because what we're trying to do now, we want to make like a puree from the dates. Because what this does now is allows us to get the sweetness from the dates. Yeah, don't be shocked. Don't be worried.
I'm completely shocked. But when are you going to put the chocolate in?
You'll see just now. So because our milk is already hot, let's just make that blend together. So what happens now is we've got that nice saucy texture from our dates and the milk and all of that. And then I'm just going to put it back in here because this is our sweetness now. There's no sugar that's going to be added. Our milk is hot, so this makes it easier for the chocolate to actually melt into this. So this is where the dark chocolate comes in. And we just fold it all together. And then as the hot milk melts the chocolate, it's going to thicken up. It's going to be a nice, thick consistency, thick pudding.
That looks divine.
And basically this is the consistency you want it to be at. And the best thing about it is there's no added sugar. Because dark chocolate basically has less sugar, it's good for you as well. It also works well with the
Can you put a bit on here? I need to taste it. Of course, I'm not sure that the dates is enough, because this is really interesting.
I promise you won't miss the sugar at all.
Wow. Wow, this is fantastic.
Perfect, right?
Yes, well done.
So basically now this is the consistency we have. And then all we're going to do is we're going to start layering our dessert.
Yeah. So you layer it then with your yogurt and then the chocolate, the cherries. But make one in here for me, like a bowl for Ricky Baby. Please make one for Ricky Baby.
I think I must also start getting shares for Ricky Baby, for all the things I'm doing for you, Ricky. I mean, so let me just start with the cherries. Actually, let's start with the
Bit of
plain
yogurt. Of course, a glass is not going to work for him. He needs a big bowl.
And then some cherries.
Oh, I love it. Cherries are not in season, but these are tin cherries, and I love them. And that is what you use for the chocolate gâteau.
Yes,
you know,
we use some cherries in there. Obviously, the best idea would be to let this chill in the fridge for about 30 minutes to an hour, just to make sure you've got that thickness and it holds its shape. And then after that,
more layers, please, Tooms. More layers.
Just keep layering up. And then let me go in with the last layer of our plain yogurt.
This is so clever.
And this is healthy, and I love the fact that you could even eat this as a breakfast dish in the morning.
Yes.
Because the amount of energy that you get from this is perfect. And then we just layer it there.
And you can put some of this on that I've made as well.
Yes, I might as well. Why not?
While you're there, we need decadence. We need more.
This is looking so good. I hope she likes it. I know it's not a Black Forest cake, but I promise you it tastes even more amazing or just as amazing.
Ah, she's going to love it. Oh, Ricky baby, I know is going to love this.
And then you just top it up with some fresh fruits.
Oh, gosh.
And there you go.
That is better than a cake.
That
is better than a cake.
And then the longer you keep it in the fridge, the more it sets, so it becomes like a mousse texture. So this is for Ricky baby. Just let Ricky know that I love him.
This is for you, Ricky baby. And then can we sing for your mom, please?
Let us sing for my mama.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mommy, to me. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Mom. And if you want to celebrate with us and make this recipe for yourself, or if you're celebrating your birthday, please then head on over to afternoonexpress.co.za and get your hands on this amazing recipe.
Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover. Ladies, this is the best way to end off a great, productive day at work, don't you think?
Oh, I like a cup of tea. Just amazing.
Yeah. And what's also more amazing is what we're discussing on the show today. You know, all things making human connection, but making it safely. Ladies, what inspired you about today's show, and how are you making those connections?
Well, for me, making my mom's favorite, or my mom's recipe, that would be connection, because I talk to them almost every single day. So that's the one way that I'm making sure that that fire never dies.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and with my mom, you know that she's in a frail care, so I send a video every day to her, like, hello, mommy, it's me, and a video. And with our guests as well, we see how important their mothers are in their lives. So I just want to say that she's important. That's how only way I can keep connected.
That's so beautiful. I think you both, you guys are going to make me feel and look bad, not shouting out my mom. But in fact, I want to be and connect more to my dad's side. My dad is actually a scientist.
Oh.
And yeah, that's what he studied. And what Ashley Ace is doing with the rapid test for the COVID-19 test kits, I mean, that's how I want to make a human connection, by changing the world.
Yes, and you can. You're already doing it, Polly.
Yes, Queen.
Yes.
I suppose that's a good way of looking at it. We're all in our special ways making those human connections. Now join us again tomorrow as we continue to define the norms of beauty and love the skin we're in this Women's Month. Until then, Tsatsii, good night, stay safe and happy eating.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.